It's because my legs are basically straight out in front of me. Um, but that's what's comfortable. Just setting them on a step stool is not going to work. That's what she was suggesting because that doesn't relieve the pressure on my knees. So we thought about getting an easel, a tilt table type of thing. And my husband and I were talking about it and looking at the prices and everything. And then, it's like, I already have my room set up. I have this table. I love this table. It's big and it can be used multi-purposely. And I use it a lot, the entire space. So I don't I don't want to get a new table, and so I was looking at desktop tilt tables, and I found one that I want to get, and I could link it for you if you request, but as soon as I order it and it comes in, I will be doing a review on it first. So I thought that maybe I would review it before I decided, before you decided if you thought that it was something you'd be interested in. It's not cheap. It's probably about half the price, if not a little bit more than half of the price of what an actual drafting table would cost, one of the lower end priced ones. But it's nice, and I'm hoping it will last for a long time, because I picked one that was big too, the biggest one I could find, and that's one of the reasons why the price is a little bit higher. So why didn't I order it? Because I am waiting for Amazon Prime Days, which starts on Monday. Monday at noon, I believe, Pacific time, because it's 3%, 3 o'clock Eastern. And yeah, I want to just make sure I can get the best deal on it I can. There's just kind of would like to know beforehand if it's going to be on sale or not, because I could already have it before then if it's not going to be on sale. But I think that's another reason why I've been procrastinating doing diamond paintings on video, because you kind of feel like you should be diamond painting when you're doing a drill with me. And I have to stop a lot normally to reposition. And that's why I don't get a lot. Another reason why I don't get a lot of diamond painting done is because I'm constantly having to move around or find a better spot. I hope you guys can see this. I had to take off the beam program that makes it where I can see the screen, because my Wi-Fi connection, of course, it had disconnected it once and I wasn't going to mess with it again. So I figured I already know I was in the screen, so it's not like I have to zoom. So I figured I should be able to see the whole thing, so I don't need to see it on the screen. And it's a good thing to have so I can see how long it's been going, but it's not necessary. I don't have to have it. Oh, so let's see, was there something else I wanted to... No, I was just talking about the doctor and the table, and oh, we're gonna be going to my nephew's 10th birthday party on Saturday, and It's at a place where they have an indoor wave pool. Those are those are pretty fun. I don't know how Tesla will like it because she's never been there, and I'm not sure how she's going to react to a wave pool. Probably have to find her little life jacket that we have. And then we're going to go to a barbecue over at his house afterwards. And then on Sunday, see, my sister's going to be down here from Washington. So on Sunday, we're going to a place called Wildlife Safari. It's a really cool place. It's only about an hour and a half from here. It's like in the same town that my dad lives in. And you stay in your car and you drive the safari. The animals, and the only animals that ever come up close to the car are the goats and the emu looking things that are really scary looking. Oh man, they scare Stephanie last year. She was putting food out for them because we buy the little cups of food that you can feed them the stuff. And one of those big ugly birds came up to the window, and she had the whole cup out the window. And the thing pecked it out of her hand and knocked it on the ground. There went $5 down the drain. I felt so bad for her. So I gave her half my food that I had up with Teslin. But yeah, the little goats and the deer, goats and deer. That's what they have that will come up to your car. But we're doing that on Sunday, and we'll probably go to my dad's house for a barbecue after that. So it'll be pretty busy this weekend. I don't know what, if anything, I'll get done. I probably will, because I normally do this stuff at night. And we'll probably be at my dad's house until dark, which, so we won't get home till like 10 or 11. Well, it's Sunday, so yeah, we can't be out too late because Tesla will have school Monday. So we have to be able to get back in time early enough for her to get in bed for school. So I'll have to let my dad know, or my sister know, and all the planning people that we have to go earlier in the day. But they also have like a petting zoo there, and they have a little playground, and they have a pen of flamingos. It's pretty cool, and you can ride a camel. I guess they have elephants there this time. Last time we went, Tesla and I rode on the camel. It was an experience, I should say. She thought it was pretty cool. I'm surprised she got on it, because she's always afraid of things like that. Now I'm trying to remember if she was on it or not, if it was somebody else that went on it with me. Pretty sure it was her. So, it's not cheap. It's like, I don't remember, but it wasn't really something that we would do every time we go, because we use Groupon to get the tickets to go through it, and so we have you get a discounted price doing it that way, but still, I don't want to pay an arm and a leg just to go around in a circle. Once every couple of years, it should be good, because we normally go in the sometime in the spring. It always ends up that way. I don't know why. Sometime in the spring, and then in the summer we go one time, because the zoo is about the same distance, but it's up in a large city up in Portland, and we don't want to. The traffic and dealing with all that, and then the parking is horrible. So, and then I have to rent a motorized cart, and that costs a good amount of money. My mom has a motorized wheelchair that I took when she passed, because there was nobody else in the family who was ever going to need something like that. And it's fairly new. And so I'm thinking that we should probably sell it and then buy one of those motorized carts that you're able to just take apart and put in your car. Because the thing about that motorized wheelchair is it's heavy and it's not easily transported. Because when we went to California, we went to Disneyland this past March, and my husband found a company that rents them, and they will actually drop it off at your hotel, and they will pick it back up for you. And we rented it for 6 days, 6 or 7 days, I don't remember, that we were down there. We were there 9 nights in that hotel, but we didn't need it for the whole time because we weren't going to be in places every single day that we needed it. We just got it for Disneyland and Universal Studios. Yeah. Okay, gotta stretch, so I'll be right back. Okay, I know that was no time for you, but I feel better now. Got a little bit of stretching in. Okay, I don't know what subject I was on, but I think I should probably get to doing this tag before I completely run this video for hours and hours and hours or fall asleep and not get to it. Okay, so the next question I was on was number 12. And it says, tell us about any pets that you have now, had in the past, or want in the future. Okay, well, I never really had pets when I was growing up. My mom had a pet, and then I had a rabbit in high school. And then after bringing a rabbit home, my mom decided she loved rabbits, and so she started buying them and breeding them. And my rabbit eventually died from a toxic pregnancy. And then I did not have another pet until I was on my own and married the first time. I had a cat named Spaz. I loved that cat. He was a lap kitty. He sure did enjoy being in my lap. Even once I had my oldest daughter, and I would have them both in my lap at the same time. And when she got to be about 2 years old, she kept kicking at him. And he was an indoor-outdoor cat, and he just one day decided not to come home. I think I saw him when I drove around in that neighborhood because we moved away. I saw him wild and free. He was never fixed, so that's a shame. And I was young and stupid. Did a lot of things when I was in my early 20s. So I did not get another pet until, well, it wasn't that much longer actually. It was when the girls were, also it was probably about a year and a half later when I got another cat. My mom asked me to watch this kitten that she had just recently adopted, which was strange to me because she was not a cat person. And I watched the cat while she went out of town, and she told me she wasn't sure if she wanted to keep it, and I told her, well, you're not getting the cat back, I'm keeping it. Because I knew I would keep it, since she didn't know if she wanted to, and I fell in love with him, so I kept him. And I also had a rescue cat that we adopted, that my oldest daughter, when she was like 3, and she named it Pickles. But the other cat that we got from my mom, we named him Sandy. I named him. And when we moved, this was when we lived in California, and when we moved back to Oregon, we only brought Sandy because Pickles was just not friendly, and she was an outdoor cat, and she ended up staying outdoors and wouldn't have taken the trip very well. So we had Sandy, and then I got another cat named Zeke, and he ended up running off too. I don't know what happened to him, but Sandy stuck around. And so after we moved from that house that we were in when Zeke disappeared, we moved. I bought my first house, and there were cats just hanging around the house, and they were like feral. But there was one that was really sweet. She was ugly. Oh my gosh, she was an ugly cat. But my daughter, Stephanie, fell in love with her. So we kept her, and she ended up having a litter of kittens. And we gave 2 of the kittens away. And one of the kittens, my mom, again, was going to take, but then of course she ended up changing her mind, so we ended up keeping it. Plus we had kept the one. And I'm just trying to see if there's any more of this symbol here before I move on. So now we had 4 cats, because Stephanie's cat, and then the 2 kittens, and Sandy. And she ended up having another litter of kittens, and one of her kittens that was now old enough had a litter, and every one of those kittens, none of them made it. I don't know what it was, but none of them lived. They lived for a little bit, but then they just something about that house, I don't know. And then she ended up running off, the ugly one, but she was sweet. She ended up running off, and we never saw her again. But the Shadow, which was our black cat, she had a second litter. She had a lot of babies in that litter, and they were dying too, and I don't know what caused it. And I was doing everything that I could think of to try and, keep them safe and, protected and kept warm and everything like that. But only one of those kittens lived, and we kept her, and that's my kitty, Precious. So all those cats, and then so we now had we're back to having 4 cats again. And then we moved, and when we moved, it wasn't right away, but there was this cat that kept coming up to the house, and my girl said, "Oh, you should see this cat. She's so lovable." And I'm like, no, I don't want another cat. I don't even want to see it. No, because I knew I would fall in love, because I love cats. And this was back when I was a smoker, and I was outside smoking a cigarette, and this cat comes up to me and just jumped in my lap and climbed up to my shoulder and put his head on my shoulder, and I fell in love right then and there. I had to keep him. We thought it was a girl, okay? We really thought this cat was a girl, and we were going around calling this cat a she, this, she, that, and we named her Sweetie, and because she was so sweet and lovable as ever could be. And he had, well, one day, cat was cleaning himself, and I then saw that it was not a girl, it was a boy. So somebody had owned this cat at one point because he was fixed. He did not have the parts to make it obvious that he was a boy. But he was. So I had him for like 3 or 4 years, and I knew he was old because he had missing teeth. I don't know if I said that, but yeah. And one day, he just started going downhill all of a sudden and just acting like he was lethargic, and he passed away when I was pregnant with Teslin. 2 months, he passed 2 months before she was born. So I believe that he passed on to make room for another life. And then Teslin was with us, and it was kind of good because I wouldn't have been able to give him the attention that I was able to give him beforehand once she came along. So, it's not good that he died. I was so heartbroken. I cried and cried for days and days. It was like losing losing a friend, a baby, a child. And I've not gotten any more pets since then. And we've lost Sandy, and now Shadow. She's the one that I made the that Diamond Dots painting for my daughter, because she ended up taking that cat on as her own when my second husband went away, because it was his cat. But come on, I'm trying to put my symbol in so I can copy and paste, but it's not wanting to target. I don't know what's going on. My program. But so yeah, we've had 5 cats at one point, all at once, and now we have just the 2. Okay, see if this will work now. We just have Precious and the sister of Shadow, or oh my goodness, this program, or the aunt of Precious, and her aunt are still alive, but they're both really old. This is so frustrating. This program, it looks like they updated it, but it's still just so finicky. I don't know what. I can't highlight. I can't tap on anything. It's just frustrating as all get out. They completely revamped Easy PDF to where it's like a completely different program, and I don't understand half of what to do with anything. I just want to highlight this one spot, and it's not letting me. Oh my gosh, this is frustrating. See, it's letting me highlight other spots, but just not the one I want. And I can't find any more of this symbol, so I need to highlight it so I know if that's the only one on this section or not. Oh my gosh. And it's so frustrating. Alright, I'm just going to put this one drill down, and if I find it again, I will... if I find it again, I will pull it back out. That's all I have to do. Just put that one right in there. Because I don't see it anywhere else on here. So I do not plan on having any more pets. Well, I forgot we do have a dog. The only reason why we have this dog is because she was my mom's, and she was a rescue, and I couldn't do that to her. Stick her with more people she didn't know. It was hard enough for her being without my mom when she was in the hospital and in the rehabilitation center, and then she came home for just a few hours and then she was gone again. So this poor dog, she's a good dog. She's just a yapper. She's a Chihuahua, so I'm not crazy about dogs to begin with, but you know, if I've seen dogs that I really like, I've just never been one to, you know, be capable of cleaning up after them and bathing them and doing all that stuff. My husband really wanted a dog, but he didn't want a Chihuahua. He's not a Chihuahua man, but he loves her, and it's his dog. Well, it's Teslin's dog, but he takes care of it. And I don't know, I think one day, once we move into a place where we can have more control over our yard and stuff, we might do that. Because, I mean, we're buying our home, but we live in a manufactured home, so we live in a community park, which we did this once before when... This is my third home I've owned, and the second home was also in a manufactured home in a community park, and it sucks because you have to pay property tax even though you don't own the land. You're renting the land, so you have to pay your mortgage and you have to pay rent, and it goes up every year. And it never fails. It will go up. Your rent goes up every year. Every year. And so, you know, we can't put in a fence. They want natural fences now, and arboretums and this and that. And we want to be able to just put up a fence, and so that we can let the dog run around in the yard. We can let, you know, Teslin can have a place to play, and we'd be out there with her, but we know that she's not going to go running into the street. She'd have to get through a fence or whatever, a gate, and we could catch her in time. But I'm not saying I'd let her be out there alone. Never do that as long as she's this young. I think when kids are a little older that it's fine, but not at the age she's at right now. So okay, I gotta get my new symbol out. So yeah, we have a dog too. Not quite sure how old she is, just because I have to check with the vet, because I was able to get all her vet records from the veterinary because I knew which one my mom used and all that. But anyway, let's move on to the next question.